Hello, I'm Devin and I'm making a video to show how to install Linux Mint version on a cheap computer I just bought, cheap desktop. I thought I'd do a video because I like to try to keep notes of what the heck I did when I encounter trouble, and actually this installation was a little bit troublesome and keeping notes is a little tedious to read back on, and also I love looking up stuff on YouTube because it's just a nicer, sometimes a nicer way to learn things. And I thought I'd make my own video, and I thought I'd also do it kind of old school, because I like to point to stuff, so instead of just a static-ish screen capture. Anyway, here we go. I chose Mint primarily because I like to go to this site DistroWatch, and this layout for DistroWatch has been kind of the same for about at least 10 years. And the thing I like about DistroWatch is when you scroll down, they actually give you kind of a I guess page hit ranking. I guess it's sort of a interest in, so Mint is coming up at the top, so that's kind of how I used to use Ubuntu, which I notice is like number 2, which I like Ubuntu. It's really comfortable. I like the desktop, but I can also do my server type stuff on Ubuntu, of course, because it's it's Linux. But I looked into Mint, and it turns out Mint's actually based on Ubuntu, so it's like basically something about having more like drivers and stuff with it, and kind of a nice desktop interface. And of course, even within Mint, you have some choices about desktop interface. So I clicked on that. Boom. I guess okay. Might as well do that. This is actually the DistroWatch page about Mint. So I kind of glanced at the description. So it tells how it, quote unquote, out of the box comes with so much, but really what you want is down here, the actual Linux Mint page. So that's really where we want to be. But before I continue with all the twists and turns that I encountered with the installation of Mint, I just wanted to, let's zoom over here. There we go. And this is kind of a summary of what I want to do with the video is I guess I've kind of talked about how I bought a cheap desktop. I want to put Mint on it to be kind of a server and do some other things for me. I wanted to do it with a bootable USB stick, and there's issues with that I'll talk about. And also I had trouble with the BIOS on the cheap computer I bought. I guess, what is it, a Dell, I guess? Yeah, I bought a Dell. Cost like 230 bucks, which brand new, it comes with, I got it from Best Buy, brand new. If there's any trouble, I could just return it, whatever. So I thought that was a nice way to go. Okay, let's just talk about the issues with this first. It comes with Windows 8, which, that has some value. So I kind of played around with Windows 8. I also wanted to do kind of a video surveillance, and this is kind of an aside. But there's like a free video surveillance tool called iSpy. So I've kind of played around with that, and I realized I'd really kind of rather get over to Linux environment again there's a thing called ZoneMinder, which I've used before, but with the Linux you just get so much of an easier, oh, by the way, that's an interesting thing. This cheap Dell I bought, it comes with a Windows 8 Home Edition, not a Professional Edition, so you don't have the ability to run a remote desktop server, and you just start to go down a rabbit hole of, to get that thing to run, you'd have to download. It was a little bit of a mess and rather unreliable compared to a very comfortable Linux environment. So anyway, so this thing here, it turns out I had an extra hard drive that I wasn't using, completely blank, a SATA drive. So I was able to actually keep all of my Windows 8, because I just took out the hard drive, put in a new hard drive, or the empty hard drive, and started from a blank slate with, the nice brand new motherboard, brand new CPU, and all that stuff. Anyway, so moving right along, that's my thinking there. We talked about DistroWatch, and how I chose Mint. Let's see. So to start off with, I thought it'd be just fine to, okay, let's go over here. Download. We're up to Linux Mint 17. Can you see that? Let's zoom in a little. I don't know. They're calling it Rebecca. This was a little confusing because, okay, up here you can't really download any software. Here's the download links, but suddenly they're calling it, maybe I'll expand this a little bit. Yeah, a little bit. That works okay. So they're up here they call it Rebecca, but when you scroll a little bit, suddenly they're calling it Cinnamon, then they're calling it Mate or Mate, and what I learned is these are actually sort of different versions of the desktop environment, and there's different types of, like you can get the full edition or you can get sort of pared back editions. And I wanted just the absolute full smorgasbord I could get because I don't want to have to deal with digging up for, at a later time, any kind of driver that I just don't want to mess around with that. Especially, anyway. So I looked into it and I think I preferred the Mate or Mate. I don't know. Mate is like a drink down in South America. That might be it because it's probably green and mint is green. Anyway. So I clicked on this one here, right there. So actually here we have the Rebecca, and then we have ooh, no codecs. That's not right. Let's see. Oh, I clicked. Yeah, I want this one. I want the ones. There we go. Okay, this is like the full thing, and scroll down a little. You can do your torrent, you can do pick your country, so I picked my America, I don't know, Virginia, James Madison, Utah State, they probably do a good job, whatever. So I clicked it and boom, it's going to be, can we see, yeah, there we go. Downloading, I'm going to call this sucker off because I've already downloaded it, cancel. So I have the ISO. Oh, that's the next step. I didn't want to burn it to a DVD. I wanted to use a bootable USB stick because I just find the DVD to be kind of, you know, they scratch. You got to find where you stashed your DVD stack, your spool or spindle. You got to burn it. I just find it kind of annoying. And some of the devices where I might want to load my distribution don't even have a DVD player. It's just nice to shove in. So where's my, yeah. I wanted to use this, which that brings me to the next step. Here, these are this is the PDF of Linux Mint documentation, user guide. This happens to be Cinnamon. But anyway, I presume it's the same as my Mate version. But when you go to this user guide shows you burn ISO, which we just downloaded, so to speak, to the DVD, which I don't want. I want to burn the ISO to a USB stick, but it doesn't have any of that instruction. So I had to go Google it. That's my next step. And I know that Linux Mint is built on Ubuntu, so I presume that'll be quite a good place for information. So I just Googled Ubuntu USB ISO install, and I clicked this first one, which I've already opened here. Oop, can you see that? There we go. Boom. And here it is. How to create a bootable USB stick, blah, blah, blah. And they give you the nice screenshots. And it's all nice, reliable Ubuntu area there. And yada, yada, yada. What I realized was you need a program. This is part of the issues section. You need to download a program called Pendrive. By the way, this is, I don't know if you noticed. I didn't say. But this is Windows, so this little pen drive thing, it's a Windows program. So I'm not in a Unix environment right now. But anyway, pen drive Linux's USB installer. So it's a program which will put your ISO onto a USB stick, so you can use that as like a what do they call it? You can actually run Linux from the USB stick without installing it, or you can use the USB stick to install it, which is our target. That's our goal. So anyway, I'll click that, boom, and it brings us over here. Actually, I think I have it up here twice. Yeah, I have it up here twice. So moving right along, this is sort of the next issue thing. We need this program. It's called like, it winds up, it has a UUI is really how it's kind of abbreviated. Universal USB Installer, easy as 1, 2, 3, and it really is easy. So scrolling down, they give you the screenshots and they're pretty true to life. There's like 1, 2, and that's pretty much kind of it. So anyway, if we click this right there, it's gonna download right there. I might as well do it just for kicks. Boom. So it's coming here and it's like, yeah, I'll keep it, but I'm gonna cancel it. Actually, it might even be fast. It's probably really fast anyhow. It's a small program. It's already there. So I got it twice. Once here, once here. Let's now here's our targets here. This is Linux Mint ISO. This is the USB installer. So I'll just open my download folder. Show in folder. You see how I did that? There we go. So here we have them down here. Remember, I canceled one and whatever. But there's the Mint ISO and the USB installer. So I'm going to just double click that installer. And it doesn't even, it actually doesn't install here. I believe it doesn't install here. It just runs. And I agree to all this, whatever, because I don't know what it is. And here, we're already into the installer. So we're going to just find our Linux Mint. It's asking us select the distribution. We're going to select Linux Mint 32 or 64. And that's actually going to click that, sort of enable the next selection, which we're going to browse there. And it's already pointing to my downloads folder. But there's my ISO for Linux Mint. I'm going to back out of this and just show you something interesting, because if you had selected a different, like Debian, Live, whatever, it wouldn't show up, and then you click Browse. That Linux Mint won't show up. It's looking for that name. I guess file name is what it's looking for, I guess. I don't know what. But that was kind of interesting. So it's really very, you know, sometimes I don't care what it's doing.